Welcome. My name is Charles Sine. Welcome to our workshop. Another Saturday at the workshop. Today, as I have been introducing in over the week, we're going to talk about a very, very important topic called laboratory diagnostics. Most people don't understand it. Most people don't like it. Most people are not even aware of it. It is really at the core of any intervention. So it's a very elaborate topic. It is a very important topic. And as the Bible says, my people suffer from the lack of knowledge. So the knowledge is here, so you need to know it. It is nobody's fault if you don't know it. The knowledge is available, so you need to know it. So I ask people simple things like, what is your blood pressure? I don't know, but my doctor said it was fine. What is your cholesterol level? I don't know, but my doctor said it was fine. What is your glucose level? I don't know, but my doctor said it was fine. I guess the doctor owns your body. It's your body. When your car runs out of gas, do you ask the mechanic, does the mechanic have to call you and say, your car is running out of gas, you need to put some gas? Or does your mechanic have to call you, that's why the modern cars have a service slide. You need to service this car. But unfortunately, God didn't give us a service slide for the servicing of our body. So we just keep using it until it dies. So we use it with dysfunctions like, yeah, I have problems with sleep, but it's okay. I poo like once every 2 days, but it's okay. I normally have diarrhea, but it's okay. Right? So we are sent all these signals, but we ignore them because we're really smart. Because we think we're healthy. Until then, there's a big problem, then we cry. They said I have cancer. Cancer takes 20 to 30 years to show up. So for 30 years, you were ignoring the signals. That is really at the heart of diagnostics. What is diagnostics? Trying to pick up what I call strong and weak signals. We're scanning and we pick up a strong signal like what? High blood pressure. It's a strong signal of a big problem that is developing. High cholesterol, it's a big signal. What is a weak signal? Things like constipation, it's a weak signal. Things like diarrhea, it's a weak signal. Things like UTI, it's a weak signal. Things like I cannot sleep, it's a strong signal. So there are strong signals and there are weak signals, and we're going to talk about it today. So stop taking supplements when you don't know why you're taking the supplements. People just want to buy supplements. Oh, I take fish oil. Then I say, why? Well, somebody said fish oil is good for me. Who said that? You must know why you're taking fish oil, and you must know the quality of the fish oil you're taking. If not, you're stupid, right? Like people who buy expensive car and go to roadside mechanics for service, right? Isn't that stupid? You buy a Porsche and you go fix it on the roadside. No, when I drove a Porsche, I take it to the Porsche garage, and what do? They plug it into the computer and they run the diagnostics. And they do what they call a 120-point diagnostics. It's expensive, but that's why I drove that car for 12 years and I did 270,000 miles and the car never broke down because I serviced the car properly. Do you understand? So don't buy expensive car and service it by the roadside. The expensive cars have a diagnostic architecture. And since God gave you a wonderful body, which he calls the temple, right? Treat it with respect, like a luxury car. So let's go on this journey of diagnostics. Really a very important centerpiece of our intervention strategy. I have got a lot of feedback that I go too fast, that the subjects I open are very technically difficult, Yeah, God created a difficult architecture. You have to learn it. If you want to choose to be lazy, then you will die. Lazy. Learn it. It's the architecture that God created, and it is yours. So put your head down and learn it. So today, in the live, I have attached 3 documents. A picture of this whiteboard, because people have complained they can't see the whiteboard well. Number 2, I've attached 2 very important research papers. One is the hallmark of aging. It's a very important paper that everybody needs to read to understand aging and what causes aging. The second paper is the hallmark of cancer. You all need to read what drives cancer. When you have knowledge, you suffer less. When you have knowledge, you can take action, and actions can create habits. Very simple, right? Okay, let's begin. At the very beginning, what are the causes of chronic illness? You need to know that. This is why we all get sick. Number 1, because we age. Read that paper on the hallmark of aging. Aging causes chronic illness. Why? Because our organs and cells degrade. It's like you buy a new tire, you use it, it degrades, you have to replace the tire. That chronic illness comes with use, right? Number 2, infections. Every time you have an infection, it leaves a residue and an impact. You can never clean your infections 100%. That's why you try not to get the infection. But if you get it, we want to get rid of it as the best ways that we can. And antibiotics do not clear your infections properly, because the bacteria is not stupid. They have becoming smarter than the antibiotics. The more antibiotics you may take, the more the bacteria builds resistance. So it's a stupid idea, right? And I know people love it because it's quick, but it's a very bad solution long term. Allergens. We have a lot of dust, mite, and things that are irritating to us, whether they are food allergies or what kind of allergies that we have, triggers and causes chronic issues with our immune system. Nutrients. Most people don't eat well. Very few people eat well. If I can show you the chart of the deficiencies for the basic RDA in the culture, whether it's vitamins, minerals, or some of the other substitutes. What's the biggest one? B12, vitamin D, vitamin C. Nobody takes enough vitamin C. You should be taking between 2,000 and 4,000 units a day. Most people don't. Or they don't eat all the vegetables they need to eat, or all the fruits, and all the things that they need. Nutrients, the body needs nutrients, not calories. Nobody gets enough of it. And the cells have to compensate for the lack of nutrients. And what is that compensation? They degrade their performance. Toxicity. Air, water, food, cream, everything brings toxicity into our bodies. Stress. I love that one. We love stress. Modern man likes to worry about our children, about our grandchildren, about President Trump, about Obama, about Hillary, about what else? COVID-19, right? We love to stress, and the more you're stressed, the more you're prone to chronic illness. So we're going to answer some of those questions. Then the last one, your DNA. Because if you don't live a good life, you drink, you smoke, and you do all those nonsense, and you die early, your genes have already been transformed with what we call epigenetics, and that's what you're going to give your children. So if you marry somebody who is an alcoholic, they're going to pass that gene to your children. Or somebody who has drugs and does all of that, you're going to pass that genetic weakness So that's why every time you go to the doctor, they ask about your family history. So it is always important that you know your family history. And as I was telling the story the other day, a friend of mine, he's 40 years old, he found out just last year that his father wasn't really his father. And it was at the doctor's office. The doctor says, "Oh, we took blood from your dad, but it's not the same. I guess you need to go run your DNA." So you can imagine the interesting conversation he had with his mother. But why is that important? Because you may not really understand your family history, and so you'll be taking certain risks. So these are the 7 things that cause chronic illness, and we're all exposed to it. None of us does it really good. It's really challenging, especially if you live in Western culture. These 7 things cause these 10 clinical imbalances in our bodies. We've tried to bring them together so people can actually understand these clinical imbalances. There are 10 of them. So let's walk through them so you get a clear sense. The biggest one that kills all of us, especially women, cardiometabolic. It has to do with our inflammation, our triglycerides, our glucose metabolism, all those things that are at the source, at the heart, at the center of chronic illness, are cardiometabolic issues. High blood pressure, cholesterol, all of that, very, very challenging. And most of us inherit that also as part of family history. Then our immune imbalances, because when you also have infections and toxicity issues, then you have immune complications and challenges. Most GI, which is the big one, the gastrointestinal challenges. Most of us have GI issues, especially if you don't eat fiber, you don't take prebiotics or fiber, you don't take probiotics, you don't take digestive enzymes. You will have a lot of issues as we grow older. If you're not stooling twice a day, soft stool, number 3 or number 4, you have a GI issue. And it's something that it's a clear, strong signal because the GI tract is really central to our immune system. So that's a strong signal. If you're not pooing well every day, there's a strong signal saying something is wrong and you have a compromised immune system. It's very important. Musculoskeletal, pain. That's the biggest challenge that we all have. Issues of pain, stress, big problem with stress, issues with circulation, clinical imbalance issues with circulation, detox, the toxicity issue that really causes a lot of complications, cognitive issues, brain, Alzheimer's, depression, all the things that rage around us, and then hormones, the big one, again for women. So we have those 10 areas, and those are the signals that we need to identify through diagnostics, right? So when we do diagnostics, we're trying to read these signals. It's like a meter. We're trying to read where is your hormones? Where are your cognitive? What is your toxicity level? Where is your circulation? Where is your energy performance? What are your stress levels, right? We're trying to read the signals on those imbalances. If you don't know them, then you don't know what's going on with your body. You have no idea. And therefore, and if doctors don't run those labs, then they're guessing. And guessing is very dangerous. When I take the Porsche car for service, they don't guess. The first thing they do, they plug it into the computer and run the diagnostic test. And once they run that, then what happens, they get results, and then we use those results for our intervention. So now that we're talking about that, we're going to talk about some of the biomarkers that we run for diagnostics. So if you're taking supplements and you haven't run your diagnostics, then you're making a big mistake for 3 big reasons. Number 1, you do not know the clinical imbalances that you have. that came from this. And how do you address clinical imbalances? With what we call optimal nutrition, right? Not every menopausal woman has the same hormonal levels. So the intervention with hormones is different for every menopausal woman. It's very important. That's what we call optimal nutrition. Secondly, everybody, based on what we call personalization, has different levels of even the core vitamins and minerals. So we need to make sure that we balance those at the appropriate level. Number three, for some people genetically, they cannot optimize certain supplements. Because I have the MTHFR mutation, my body does not manage folate metabolism very well. So I need to take methyl B12. I didn't know that until I ran my diagnostics. So you can take B12 all you want. If you have that mutation, your body doesn't do anything with it except you take the methyl B12. That's it. You cannot know that except you do the diagnostics. So don't try and be smart because your friends are taking B12. I need to take that too, when you're not sure. Let's look at something like fish oil. We all need different levels of it. And one of the biggest challenges today is the balance or the ratio between omega-3 and omega-6. And that is a very important balance. That's a very important balance. That balance between omega-3 and omega-6. And it's very different for all of us. Therefore, the amount of omega-3 that you need to take for each person is very different based on your diet and based on how you eat and what your genetics are and what you're exposed to.